wake up and go, well, you know, I had to go right open the door.
I don't want to calm down. I might want to give it up.
Just close your eyes.
Push those jackets over. But you know what, Roger? Take those jackets out because I was just pushed those over. It might be because we had left ours on the bus last night.
What?
To hear that we haven't got many more tunnels left to do on the tour either. So because today we will finish our day in eastern Norway, which height of Sweden, which is 300 meters, which is under 1,000 feet. So you know, it is a high private guide to guide us through the open air museum. Thank goodness the weather is nice, because for those not doing the excursion, well, you have the rest of the afternoon free in Lillehammer. We'll be at the Norwegian-Swedish border. So it's not a bad idea if by the time you go to bed on Wednesday, travelling on European Union passports, well, you can't get your tax back for good sport in Sweden. Or the Vetter, V-E-T-T-E-R, the Vetter. Vetter in Norwegian, and the translation is in English is the whites, spelled W. Are starting to see trees and forest, and fast-flowing rivers and campsites and caravan sites. So on the way to Lom, I'm going to play a little bit of music. The conditions that would close this road, and the snowplows work hard in the winter time to keep the road. Were built in the 10th and early 11th centuries. None of them survived. So he was born on a farm in Garmo, and the farm is now just a very small museum. It's the only reference you'll ever see to Knut Hamsun. He was farmer's lad. The level, the top of the monument is the level of the worst flood that they had. It flooded right across here. It was in 1789, and this whole area. People have asked me, does it flood a lot in Norway? Well, no, it doesn't. And people living by fjords, they wouldn't build their houses so close to fjords and rivers if flooding was. Described it as palace pile upon palace, so some high mountains. It stretches almost to the Swedish border. We're not wild in the national park, but during the Second World War, all the muskox disappeared. Many people probably shot them for their meat, their big shaggy coat to keep them warm in the winter time, but anyway, by the end of the war, there was no muskox. Back to Greenland after the Second World War and said, sorry, we've misplaced all your muskox. So they all seem to they divided up into two factions, the muskox. One faction decided to emigrate to Sweden. They crossed over the mountains and went to Sweden. So now Sweden has muskox. They preferred life in Sweden to life in Norway. The remainder of the herd, and we're going to be on the E6 for the rest of today. We will be on it tomorrow on our way to Oslo, and we'll be on it a bit the day after when we leave Oslo to mercenaries, led by a man called George Sinclair, sailed from Scotland to the west coast of Norway, and were of 1812. The Battle of Cram or the Battle of Kringen, which took place. It's called the Solfen Church. It dates back to the 18th century, and it's a hexagonal shaped church, very typical of this area. I also want to point out on the right hand side, I was going to tell you about this Stave. Here, this building up on stilts. Can you see the brown wooden building on stilts? Now this is it's called a Stave, S-T-A-B-B-U-R, and a Stave. In the olden days, it was a shed for the farm and the seat of a Viking called Dale Gudbrand. His farm, who ruled over this whole king burial mound as well. So Dale Gudbrand, he was the big Viking chieftain of this area, and that was where he. One of the best downhill slopes in the world. You can see it snaking down through the trees, and it's used today on the World Cup downhill ski circuit when these events are held in Norway. Early kind of skier, and that's become the symbol of Lillehammer. And they even have a slope, so you can see the top of them there through the trees. And just after the next set of buildings, keep looking left and you will see Lillehammer coming up after this down building. Can you see Lillehammer in miniature there, just behind the fence there? So that's quite sweet.
A roller coaster!
Near the water, slightly to the left, it's almost in front of the castle there. I don't know if you can see a blue and white parasol or umbrella. It's the troll is now just to the right of the blue and white umbrella. Can you see? Big fiberglass troll there. Largest troll in the world. That's from the Hunterfossen family park. The other side of the water there are salmon ladders. Can you see the salmon ladders? To help the salmon, because it's a big salmon fishing river, to reach their spawning ground. They swim upstream to their spawning ground.
Yeah.
That's a lot of baggage.
Yeah, it is.
500 kilos.
Yeah, it is.
That's half the coach.
And then there's a couple people there, short of a full load. I wonder what that.
But actually, when he stayed here, he was cured. So he stayed alive till he was 88 years old. Died in 1950. And during all his life, he was very interesting in
This is a farmer's cottage.
kitchen for meals while the family had a dining room. But in a farm, no. Everyone together. You'll see later on. So the winter house is smaller, it's older, it's a house, you know, when there were more people in the farm, they needed a bigger house. Okay, a little bit new one, but they could still use like today, but it's not a big difference. We have small and tall people nowadays, don't we? Same way then, these days. Look at the decorations, you see, this is the 18th century.
That's the evidence of.
Can you feel it?
So you did spin this, that's amazing.
What color it is?
The son of the farm in 1750 was a blacksmith. So he made.
There are different interesting things to look at here, and there are, for example, if you look at these roofs, for example, you see, well, it has been a special system, but those who have big, lot of land, big, einmal kann man ein großes Spielplatz auf dem
This wall, by the way,
That's Lillehammer, that's the lake.
Okay. See, I would have told you we could stay.
When it's raining.
Really?
Yeah. People don't, if it's pouring down with rain, they don't want to be exposed sitting on a chairlift.
Of the Håkans Hall, which is home to the Olympic Museum, in which is situated the egg from the